Hey again, this is Todd, and today I've taken the Irix 11mm Blackstone out for another test. Hopefully this will be a little bit better than the last one. The last one was pretty much a mess. The light was really off. I've kind of been looking into a secondary mode, which is maybe a little bit of a surprise mode for the Z camera for a lot of people doing vlogging. It definitely won't work in all situations, but what that is P mode. And P mode, for those that don't know, is program priority. And what program priority does is basically takes control of all the settings and ramps the ISO, the shutter speed, and even the f-stop slowly in a specific order, which actually works really well for time lapses like sunrise to sunset. There's a guy who actually posted a video about that. I'm gonna try to link to him. I don't know his name off the top of my head. So right now I'm not in program priority mode or P mode. I'm actually just in manual mode, and I'm just seeing if I can get this to work. The light is obviously a lot better today than it was. I'm also in a very open space right now, so I don't have a lot of changes. The clouds are, for the most part, constant cover. There's a little bit of blue sky poking through. The advantage, obviously, to staying in this mode is that I get this nice bokeh behind me. At least it looks nice from my point of view. But the aperture, but the program priority mode is going to be a lot better, I think, for anyone that's walking through a lot of light changes. Now, the catch with that mode is that you're going to have to deal with the possibility of, if you're in a place with lots of lights, man-made lights, you're going to have to deal with flicker, and that's something that a lot of us don't want in our videos. I personally don't like flicker in my videos. Today, though, it's nature, and another Jinja is coming, another temple is coming. I'm gonna walk through this area behind me, which is a newly created little nature reserve. It was sort of always nature, but they made it so people can now walk through it and kind of managing it a little bit better and making it a little bit more friendly to some of the local wildlife, I think. And what's really cool is it leads to one of my favorite Jinjas in this area. So it's a bit of a trek, and right now it's cooling down, but I rode here on my bike and it's hot today. Not as hot as the other day, and it doesn't have the sun shining on me like the other day. But I've been sitting here for a while trying to cool down while I set up. Unfortunately, my you'd call it a sports drink. This is actually basically IV fluid in Japan. I don't mean to do a promo here, but this one's called Pocari. There's other ones like iOS and lots of different sports drinks that are basically IV fluid, but this one is almost identical to IV fluid, so it really hydrates you. But the problem is I freeze them before I go out, because that way they stay cold and last longer. I don't just guzzle it down. This one stayed frozen pretty much till I got here. I took off the top, I got a little sip out of it, but unfortunately it might be okay now. But this one I overfilled a little bit. You know, water expands when you freeze it, and this one I wasn't able to get the top back on all the way, so I'm hoping that I can get past that and maybe get this. It still feels really, it basically, when I took the top off, there was like a vacuum sort of effect, and the ice plug just shot up. There, I think I got it on now. Great. Okay. So that's it. I'm going to be trying to talk a little bit quiet today because I don't like yelling. I don't like the voice I hear. It's not really my natural voice usually when I do these vlogs, and I don't like that. I'm trying to steer away from that. But the other thing is, this is a pretty mellow place. This time of morning is mostly old people here, and I don't want to disturb them, and I also don't really want to draw attention to myself. I'm sure I already have, but Japanese people are pretty used to cameras. The vlogging thing is kind of new, but they're getting used to it. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna really quickly right now, before we start walking around, before I start sweating, I'm gonna switch to the program priority mode. Okay, so now we're in program priority mode. I raised the exposure compensation up to 1.3. So it's not a bad mode, and I think this would definitely handle light changes a lot better, but the thing is, as you can probably notice right away, is I lose a lot of that bokeh. It's changed my f-stop to f8. I was at f4 on this lens, which is the lowest or most wide open f-stop you can do on this Irix 11mm lens. f8 is obviously going to keep everything more or less in focus, especially if I go to infinity. It's really hard for me actually to see myself whether or not I'm in focus on this lens. because I'm using a little smartphone with a fairly dim screen. So there we are at infinity. Those clouds behind me should be pretty well in focus. I'm going to go back though. Oh, that's probably, it looks like, I don't know, did I screw it up? Maybe. That's the other thing I noticed though in manual mode, although I guess I could just, no I can't. I gotta close it to adjust the exposure compensation. In the manual mode it's really easy to, brighten it and just focus and then it'll go down. You can take it down again. Anyways, this is all unusable, so I'm gonna stop now. Okay, yeah, so I think I'm gonna stay in this manual mode today. Let me know what you prefer. I'm really not sure myself. It doesn't look like it. Wait. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to stay in the manual mode for now. It might be a little blown out. It's really hard to tell with the Nikon. The Nikon handles highlights better than it handles shadows in my experience. So I'm going to keep it a little bit overexposed perhaps. But let me know what you guys think, whether you think this is good exposure or not. So I think people are eating their lunch here. I'm going to get moving because I don't want to sit here and talk all day while these people are eating. So let's go. Okay, so what really sucks about the Nikon app is that you can't really adjust anything except for your film speed, your f-stop, which in some modes you can't adjust. You can do your exposure compensation, and you have sort of some control over your ISO. But you cannot control anything like image stabilization or anything. So every time I want to do this, I have to disconnect the app, basically. I have to turn off the camera or disconnect the app and go back into it to change into the camera menu to change things like image stabilization. So this is going to be a pain in the ass to do each one of these, but I'm not sure what I was on, because actually I realized in the camera I was on photo mode, but obviously it was recording video, and I really don't know if it was using the photo settings or the video settings. So right now I'm just on digital stabilization. That's it. I've changed it back to the program priority mode just for these tests, because I thought it looks reasonably good up here, maybe. And also this is maybe a good example, because if I spin very slowly to maximize or minimize your extreme vertigo from this super wide lens, you get an idea of what it does or doesn't do, like right now in these shadows. Where are you? Priority. Program priority. Okay, regardless, I'm going to go back and check the other image stabilization modes now, so bear with me. Okay, it's really remarkable how fast the battery gets eaten up on the Z6 when you have the Wi-Fi on. I did bring a battery pack here, so after these stabilization tests, I'm going to have to charge it, so I'm going to be a fair distance from here, I think. I'm going to walk into the Jinja after these tests. So right now I am on sports mode still for image stabilization. Actually, excuse me, I'm still on digital stimulation. I'm still on digital image stabilization, but I've added also sports stabilization, I guess the regular in-camera stabilization. So that leaves the regular stabilization, and then I'll also do a test without the digital and these two if I have enough battery life. Okay, so the regular stabilization is actually called vibration reduction. I'm sure most of you watching this know that. I've had a Nikon Z6 for almost a year now, and I didn't remember that. So now I have the normal vibration reduction, and I have digital image stabilization on. So I realize, though, the big conundrum here is I haven't been walking around with these, and that's what I need to be doing. So I'm going to start walking right now with this one. And this is a flat path for the most part. I was just on some grass. I'm going to try to hold that as if I was vlogging with a Z6. I'm trying to just hold it with one hand right now to give you an example. Now, if I obviously hold it with two hands, I can get a bit more stabilization there. So again, this is a normal vibration reduction with digital image stabilization on. So I'm going to go back to the sports one with digital on so you can get a walking test. Okay, so we're back onto sports mode with digital as well. So the mode I was on yesterday was actually on the regular image stabilization with no digital on at all. You get the weirdest looks when you vlog, when you cross somebody right on their path. But anyways, so I got digital and sports mode right on, holding one hand. If you switch hands, it does make a little bit of a difference, for better or for worse. Both hands obviously works better with this camera. It's so heavy. You know, heavy cameras in general don't shake as much, but when you're holding it with one hand and it's lopsided, it does. Okay, I don't know how it put me back in priority mode. I think I was in priority mode for a while there. Program priority mode. Program your priority and find your mode. So now I'm just in sports mode with no digital image stabilization. I have no idea how that looks. To me, it looks smooth with the shakes when I walk. See if I can smooth it out. I probably should slow down. It's a lot of heavy gear and I start sweating like a pig. Okay, and now I'm here in normal stabilization. And what did I call it again? Normal vibration reduction. Vibration reduction. I'm in normal vibration reduction now, and digital image stabilization is off still. I've noticed the SnapBridge image app does in fact default to program priority mode, which is interesting, but also a pain in the ass. The SnapBridge app also is kind of manic. It likes to, just for no random reason, wants you to connect different ways for your wireless. It doesn't see it when it should be there, and it makes you go different routes to connect it sometimes. I find just pressing lots of buttons randomly tends to get you there. So anyways, this is I'm holding two hands, so it's probably not fair. This is the regular mode with no digital. This is what I believe I was using during my other walk around. So I'm not expecting this to be too good. I think any of these, if I just hold them closer to me, like this, I feel like, the image is fine, but I feel like it's a little bit too close to me, and you're not really seeing as much of what's behind me. Although, is it really? I guess it's not a big difference. You just have to deal with seeing my face a little bit closer, and I know I'm looking up real. I'm not even looking up that high. It's just how wide this lens is. So yeah. What do you guys think? We'll do one more last test, which is just nothing stabilization. Okay, it put me back in priority. I forgot program priority. I don't care this time. I just want to finish this up. I got big stairs to go up. So this is no stabilization whatsoever. I am holding it two-handed. If I hold it one hand, I don't know. I'm sure when I get that home I'm going to see it, but right now I don't see a huge difference. Switch to my other hand. Yeah, I got to go up these stairs now. That could be a short test of stabilization if I had the gumption to actually put them all through the paces, but I'm not going to do that right now. I think we're going to do this test again with the Ninja 5 if I decide not to sell it, or if I don't sell it in the near future, because weight be damned, it's just such a pain in the ass to go through all these different modes. Turning off the Wi-Fi and turning it back on, turning off the camera and turning it back on. It's just a pain in the ass, and it's also going to be a pain in the ass syncing the audio. So this is an interesting little test though, because I am in that program priority mode, and you can see how it's trying to keep up with me. Let's do this test for another couple seconds, and then let's just go into manual. See which is better. I think manual's gonna be better because it's just seems to be dropping me in the shadows. The light is, for the most part, over there. I mean, it's everywhere, but lots of trees over this way. Hey, there's lots of trees here, but there's also open. Doesn't look much more open on this screen, but it is. All right, let's try. Okay, we're in manual. I did a little bit of changing. I was at a fairly high shutter speed. Now I'm back down to 1/50th, 24 frames per second. I think I got a little bit of exposure compensation around 1. But yeah, so, you know, for this kind of nature stuff though, the bokeh is not necessarily necessary. So the aperture priority mode, I think, has potential. It just has to be done in the right lighting conditions, and I think not within the app. I think that, I could be wrong, I haven't done the time lapses using it for a while here, but I think there's a little bit more fidgeting you can do in program priority mode to, wow, okay, to get it to behave better. So I'm just gonna now, with no stabilization, sorry guys, because I really don't know which one's best. So I'm just gonna try this for now. We're working our way down this hill, looking for the stairs. There's a cool temple down there. If we can get there before the battery dies on the camera, you can see it a little bit. So when I get down there, basically I'm gonna put this camera on the battery pack and see if I can charge it up all the way. It's gonna take a couple hours, but it's a nice place to chill, and maybe I can get some inspiration. I've been going a little bit too much fast motion lately. It's funny because I haven't been getting much done lately, but at the same time I'm always moving, always doing something. It's just not getting the things I want to get done. I am definitely ADHD, and you know, I tend to go on little tangents of focus. Wow, overexposure city. Yeah. If only there was some sort of mode that like would take control and program, you know, prioritize the program settings so that there weren't these extreme light changes. Ooh. Did that just die? I don't know what just happened. The screen went black. The screen didn't just black out. I didn't just start over here, but just pretend nothing happened. Ooh, what's that? Let's see, how can we do this? Yeah. As much as I wanted to lose the weight of the Ninja 5, I might have to change my mind on selling that. It's on auction right now, so watch, I'll come home and it'll be sold. So this is a pretty cool, for the roof alone, I like this Jinja. It's really cool because you walk down these stairs and you basically just walk alongside this fairly high old Jinja roof. And as you walk downward, see, it's doing, what is it doing there? It's changing the exposure. Is that just the clouds? Anyways, there's a little torii and another little Jinja or shrine down there. I still get confused which ones are shrines and Jinjas. Some old people down here doing some praying. So I'm going to try to talk a little bit quieter now. You hear them putting the money in there right now. Sounded like big money there. 500 yen maybe. So here's this little one. It's really cute. Seeing they're ringing the bell. Just like this little bell, but there's a bigger bell down here. Just give them a little bit of a taste of fame while preserving their privacy. Oh, Jesus. Slippery stairs. Konnichiwa. So yeah, that's the Jinja. I think what we'll do is we'll try and get down and charge the battery, and if I can come back up here and do a little bit more, walk around that Jinja a little bit and give you better shots a little bit later. I really want to get this battery charged. My whole plan today actually was to do Konnichiwa, to do this vlog. And then after this vlog, how's the stabilization working now? Sorry. So after this vlog, I wanted to get down here and do a time lapse. There's a really cool pond and a bridge down here. So it's pretty good landscape. There's also an old Japanese house down here, Konnichiwa. And I think that I want to try and get a nice time lapse. The clouds yesterday were awesome, and I was trying to get out here yesterday, but a meeting got bumped up an hour. I really didn't have the time, at least not the proper time. Today is not the time I wish I got out here, but it was raining this morning, so the clouds are almost taking shape. I mean, they'll do something, but I'm really wanting some. God, that's bright. We're gonna try program priority mode. Let's see how it works now. See, now to me, it looks really overexposed, and I noticed the film speed is down at 25, and I wonder if that's something affecting the last settings I had on manual. So I'm going to switch to manual. I'm going to bump up the film speed and come back into this and see if it does something. Okay. No, it didn't, but I was at +1 exposure compensation, so I dropped it down. It's hard to say now what's happening, but there, if you can see it, is a little Japanese house down there. I don't know if you can. We're gonna get down there. Wow, program priority, you're not the savior I thought you were. You were the chosen one! I'm also worried about the memory card here. It's the other bummer about the Nikons. They're relatively memory card whores. Not really. I mean, it's like what, 100 and some odd bits per second at 4K, maybe 150. But you're limited to the XQD cards, which I think are awesome cards. Honestly, I do. I think that one card is enough in that regard, because I have not had this drop or lose any files at all, and I've been using it for about a year. But the price is ridiculous, and I hunted this one down for a good deal, and it's 64 gigabyte Sony card, and I paid at that time what was a good deal was, I think, 100 or 120, something like that. And at that time, it was right when they started switching to the other cards, and these were getting scarce, and a lot of shops were trying to sell them for like upwards of $200, which is ridiculous. 120 is ridiculous. When you look at SD card prices, it's ridiculous all around. I mean, they're just jacking people, and Sony is really, I know who's responsible. So here's this cool little house, and I think this is where program priority does become your savior. Konnichiwa. Sumimasen. So there's a guy in here cleaning, actually. I'm going to give him his space. But yeah, okay, so here we go. Program priority. I mean, yeah, I look a little bit blown out, but we're in virtual darkness right now. This is extremely dark house. There's one light up in the corner here that, believe me, as bright as that looks, it practically, if it wasn't in here, you wouldn't really see a difference. This is really cool. He's got the smoke going. I'm actually going to take a seat here and see if he says anything. I've been here many times with family and friends, sitting down here. Wow. Ooh. Cinematic. We've brought you to the Opium Den today to discuss the value of our product and what we think you can bring to our business. And opium, it's gotten a bad name recently, with all the heroin out there and the Taliban. But we want to bring opium back to the people as, that good feeling happy drug. You know, let's get babysitters putting it in the bottles again. Let's get people going to the opera, you know, just feeling great. I'm going to get in trouble for that, right? I'm getting a lot of hate mail. Okay, I've had friends that have suffered and died from addiction. Okay, it's no laughing matter, but, you know, some people can control their usage on those things. No, I've never had opium in Asia. It's not the dream world you thought it would be. You don't come here and find back. Wow, look at how epic that looks with the smoke. I hope this looks that good. I think the ISO is going to be cranked up, because that's the one thing I did notice in my house with program priority mode. I think we're going to switch to manual mode and see what we can do with this, because yeah, I've been in other houses like this where they have the stove going in a different part of Tokyo, actually Kawasaki I think, but this is the first time I've had this luxury. This is really cool, and I know I probably am fucking up the framing. And I'm sweating because of the opium. I'm sweating balls. Where's the girl with the sponge to wash me? Okay, let's try manual mode as I destroy my career with my advocation of opium dens. Nah, it's better backwards. By the way, I have nothing to do with this America Tokyo Club or whatever it's called on my hat. Wow, what's going on with my hat? Okay. It was a thrift store fine, it was cheap, it fits me. Hats that fit my massive melon are a rarity here. You know, I looked them up online. They look sort of like a highfalutin Sunday brunch kind of group, but I don't know, maybe they have fun and they're not as stiff as they look, but it just didn't seem like my cup of tea. If you guys are cool, you know, reach out to me, maybe we can hang out. We'll see. I'm pretty weird though, so you gotta be okay with that. You don't have to be as weird as me, but you have to be okay with me being me. So, this is manual mode. I have no idea what the ISO is at because this fucking app is not showing me the ISO. The white balance I changed to some little symbol, which I really thought this looks pretty good compared to the other one. I'm at f4, I'm at shutter 150, and it should still be 24 frames per second. 23.98. So, yeah. I see some ISO in there. It seems like it's... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just on the screen, because it shouldn't be. I mean, well, it should be. Okay, I take that back. But I'd imagine it shouldn't be much more over 16,000, which for Nikon is nothing. Instead of just sitting here the whole time. I don't like hearing little metal things falling. Was that my love air? Did it fall off long ago? Where is it? I don't know. My drip. There it is. I really hope this wasn't hanging all the time. I think that little ting was this hitting the floor. Oh, it was the magnet hitting the floor. There it is. Okay, let's do it now. We're live from the Opium Den in undisclosed location in Western Tokyo. We're here with Todd. He's me, and I am him. And, you know, when you frequent these establishments, you stop really caring about the ego and who you are as an individual. And then you walk out because these people are here. Konnichiwa. Sumimasen. And we enjoy our lives, and we move on. This guy's looking very serious. He wants to clean this place, but I was in there too long. I was okay with him cleaning while I was in there, but apparently he didn't want to disturb me, which is really, really nice of him, but I feel bad now. So this is a cool little grove here. I'm going to try and clip this back on here, but I want to... Wow, that white balance looks shitty out here. There's a bench. Wow, I was like gonna say, let's see if there's a bench, and ta-da! Gotta love Japan. Advantage of a 30% elderly population is there's lots of benches. Okay, let's stop this. Okay, so most of this I've just been letting the auto white balance take care of things, and that's what I'm at right now. I'm cheating here with my lav. Let's see how well that works, because that's actually a really secure area and I don't even have to use a little magnet. You know, I'm breaking a lot of rules, I'm sure, but that's, yeah. I never wanted to be a technical camera guy. I've learned more than I wish I knew, and I've forgotten more than I should have. Oh, nice cool breeze. This is really a perfect day for this. I was just walking around. I know I'm sweating, but trust me, this is way better than it was the other day. I do have a little weird worm here attached to my lens. Are you a worm? Yeah, you are. Look at that little guy. Can you guys see that? Interesting. Let's give this. There is no macro on this lens, but we can get a little bit closer. Are you poisonous? There's a lot of poisonous little caterpillars and stuff in Japan, so hopefully I don't break out into some crazy rash over this. Let's put you on a tree. I think you probably want to be on this tree. There's some bite marks. It looks like you might have been doing that. Oh, don't get cut in half by this sharp, jagged leaf. Get on there. Get on there, little guy. Don't. There we go. He's safe to destroy these rare endangered trees. Okay, so I think that's for now about it. Okay, we'll walk through this grove. Make excellent B-roll, right? We're gonna walk through this little grove. We're gonna get to the little pond. I'll show you what I'm gonna try and do a time lapse of. I know you probably can't see those clouds now, but you will, I hope. This is gonna be great cool down weather while I charge this battery. Don't know if I'm really supposed to walk through this area, but I'm gonna do it all the same. So if you look down here, there's a little pond and a bridge back there. Almost Monet garden style. And yeah, I'm gonna get off this hill because this is probably where the murder hornets, as you guys like to call them, live. They're definitely here, and just to let you know, I've never seen more than one at a time. I'm sure there are some hives somewhere, but good God, the American media likes to blow shit out of proportion, doesn't it? Okay, cool down time. I'm gonna find a nice bench. Oh, she stole my bench. Oh, there's two benches right here. I give myself the worst, most difficult editing jobs ever. I mean, it's ridiculous. I should just do like 5-second little. This is ISO 100. This is IBS sport mode. This is the digital stabilization. Here we go. How do you like that? Is that good? Do you like it? Fuck. Lots of editing.